Hey, good morning, everybody. I have another edition of the Practice Gratitude Success Show, and I have just a wonderful surprise for you today. And I'm going to offer some really cool things as well. So, the person that I'm going to introduce today is somebody that I met through the whole law of synchronicity of how things just kind of work. I met somebody who's a good friend. Well, actually, with Edie Galley, who was on yesterday, and a friend of ours seen something that was on her Facebook wall. And this is so funny how things just work like this. And then so it was a Periscope done by this lady. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. And then she shared over with my wall, and she said, "You got to check out this lady. You got to see what she's talking about." So I went there, and I was like, "Oh my God, this lady, she's unbelievable." But anyways, I'm not going to go talk. I'm going to let her let her do the talk. But she let me just. I hope you can not hear the garbage can that's out, my garbage man's out there right now. But this is what she is: an intuitive counselor, a coach, a mentor, a community builder, a heartfelt leader, known as a belief integrationist, a creative visionary, and a true authentic facilitator of change. Her passion is to inspire, teach, enable others to discover their purpose, to live their lives more freely, more fantastically, and a catalyst for shifting consciousness and guiding those back to their authentic self. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing you Judy Q. Martini. Judy, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Bob. Nice to be here. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. And I'm afraid I can't see your comments. I'm on an iPad. So
Okay,
I was, so Bob's going to have to keep us.
yeah, if anybody has any questions, one of the things I just posted right now, she said if anybody has any questions, she can give you an answer. Like do some laser coaching. So if you have any questions at all, as we get going here, just type them in, and I'll be happy to ask that to Judy. And also before we get into it, she does offer a 20-minute free consultation as well. So if anybody, we'll talk about that before we end the show here. So uh, thank you so much again, Judy, for being here. I seen you on Periscope. What was that whole deal? How long have you been doing Periscopes?
Oh, geez, back probably in July.
Okay.
And I think I've done about close to 50 broadcasts, but I'm going to be doing more of them.
Are
And
you?
yeah, I'm going to do more because I want to be able to teach and share and educate people and help them. So, it's about community, it's about being called to service. So I will do more. I mean, I just did one last week called Focus. What are you focused on? And that one was a hit. I mean, people kept coming in and asking questions, and that's what I like is that interaction with people. That's why Periscope is so cool. So I love Periscope. Love it, love it, love it.
I have not yet. I haven't even done one yet. I'm going to. It'll be real soon. Though. I'm going to do one. So
Good.
I got a new phone. Yeah, that's
And
cool.
make sure you put your handle out there so I can follow you.
Okay, I don't have a handle yet, so I'm still in the dark ages. Judy and I we were just talking about the dark ages of technology right before she came on here today, and she's talking about she remembers the old rotary dial on the phone where you had to dial like this, and then I told her I remember we used to have a party line. So you would get on the phone, and the whole neighborhood would share the phone. Most of the people that are here that are in the chat here today, they don't remember that they're probably too young for that. So anyways, I want to welcome everybody that's here today. Christi, thank you for coming. Jackson, Chris, Len, everybody that's here, and so all the people that are popping in right now. Thank you so much for coming on here today. We got a real treat here. Judy Martene, I seen her on Periscope a couple like last week, and she's an amazing heart leader, I guess, a spiritual integrationist. So I don't want. I want you to go tell us what you kind of, and what I seen in Periscope. You were telling me us about your story,
Yeah.
and do you want to pick up from that and just run with it?
Sure. And, we all have stories, right? We all have backgrounds. Most of the population has come from some sort of dysfunction in our families. So, what I was able to do through a group called Parapreneurs, which is helping entrepreneurs, is I told some highlights of my life, some devastating, traumatic things, and how I was beaten down so many times, literally, emotionally, psychologically, you name it, beaten down physically so many times, and I would keep crawling back up to the top because there was always something inside me that knew that there was something more. And I think all of us have this from time to time, that knowing that, what am I here to do? I know there's something. I know that this life I'm living isn't it. Most of us. There are some of us that are actually living this awesome, blissful life. But most of us have that inner thing that's pulling us. It's like, I know there's something better for me. I know that I'm supposed to be doing something great for this world. So that was me most of my life searching. So I did get an opportunity to tell some of those highlights. And it's still available if you scroll to down my Facebook page. It's still available there. You will see it and it will take you to a link. You can see it. And
I'll share it. I'll share it today.
okay, it's not for the faint-hearted because, out of that has come many successes. And, they call me the fairy godmother now, which is so unique because I've come from tragic to magic. And I'm able to make magic happen not only in my life, but in others' lives as well. And what I get to do with people, the gifts and the talents and my purpose right now is to help people remember who they are at core level.
Mm.
Remember who you are at core level and then recognize why you're here on this planet. What are your gifts, your talents, your passions? What are they? Why are you here? How are you to serve yourself and others? Because most people have forgotten that. And then the third thing that I get to help people do, which is so important, is reconnect them back to their intuition, their higher self, their God source, the source energy, whatever you want to call it, Tom, Dick, Harry, doesn't matter. That energy that is you,
Right.
connect back to it, reconnect you back, as we've forgotten how to use our intuition for every single thing during the day. Our connection, that pure source connection all the time. Most of us get stuck up in the ego, in the brain of always trying to figure things out. And I'm telling you, the brain only regurgitates what you put in there. So, reconnection back to that source energy. I mean, for me, it was like this morning, I said, do I need vitamin D? And it was like, yes. Okay, how much do I need? 5, 6, 7,000 units, 8,000 units. You get that answer. So when you're connected to source energy like that, when you're connected to your intuition, you can ask for anything and the answer is there. And it may show up in multitude of different ways. So this is also, I love to teach about intuition as well. So in a nutshell, that's what I help people do is remember who they are at core level, recognize their gifts, their talents, their passion, why they're here, and reconnect them back to their intuition. And boy, is it fun. But I'm going to tell you, it's not for the faint hearted because you have to want to be able to take accountability for your life, responsibility for your life, know that you are the creator. And then from there, you take steps to move forward. And it's so much fun when people are ready to do that, Bob. So much fun.
And Judy, how do you know when somebody's ready to get into that?
Yeah. So here we talk about divine synchronicity, right? We talk about, and I don't advertise per se. I may put something out on Facebook about what I'm doing or whatever, but I know that people come to me via divine synchronicity when they're ready to shift, when they're ready to make that expansion, when they're ready to have that growth, when they're ready to say, you know what, there's something more to this life and I got to find out what it is. So also, because I offer that 20-minute complimentary call, now I can see if they're a right fit for me and they can see if I'm a right fit for them. And that's crucial to me is that pre-interview stage with my clients.
And it's kind of like what Edie was talking about yesterday. Is,
Yeah.
she came on and she said, hey, not everybody's. Not, I'm not right for everybody. I'm
Yeah.
not the person for them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's like that probably with anything, like a home business or anything. Something if it doesn't gel with you, it doesn't gel with you. You
And
know.
here, and here's my biggest thing that I'm on right now. I was in a couple of movies, and one of the producer directors and I were talking about. He's from Hollywood, and he's like, Judy, what about this collaboration thing? And I says, oh my God, Emmanuel, you and I have to do something about this, because I've been saying for years there's no such thing as competition, and this is just
Mm,
leading into what we just said about not everybody is a match for you.
right.
You couldn't service 7.25 billion people. So no, not everybody's right for you. And here's the thing about the collaboration, and my phone's acting silly. Hang on here, turn the sound off. When when you are in divine flow, when you are living your gifts, your talents, your passions, they are so uniquely yours. Nobody else has the exact same gifts, talents, and passions, and nobody can deliver them like you do. So you attract the right people to you. That's why there's no such thing as competition. What I'm moving into the realm of is teaching people about collaboration. Once they understand their energy is unique, once they understand there's no such thing as competition, then they're ready to move into collaboration. And won't that immediately start to change the world when we start to make that shift? It'll be amazing.
That's so cool because I love that quote. In fact, I've posted that like on a meme a couple of times. There is no such thing as well. Maybe I shouldn't say there's no such thing as it's our choice whether we choose to collaborate or have competition, something like that. But it's a choice. It's like love and fear is a choice.
Mhm.
I think, anyways, we can choose to be. It's like polar opposites. We can choose to live in fear because I've lived there a long time, and it's not fun. Or we can choose to live in love, and it's more fun.
That's, but I think, the universal language is, there's no such thing as lack. So there's no such thing as cooperation. I mean, competition, right?
Competition.
Yeah.
But we can choose it, though. We can
That's
choose.
right. We're free enough to choose lack if we want to. We have an abundance of not enough, right? Universe is nothing but abundance. Abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
Now, a term that came up yesterday on our show yesterday with Edie, we talked about the importance of consistency. What's your take on consistency?
All right. So here's the thing. Old energy patterns are shifting off of this planet really fast. The way of doing business now heading into the cooperation and collaboration. The way that we used to set goals and focus and things like that, that's like old energy. So here's the thing: when you're connected to your intuition, Bob, things are changing all the time. So when you stay connected, and I'll give you an example. So I'd started a project and it was flying, it was going great. I was going to launch it. And all of a sudden it was like I didn't have the inspiration to launch it. It was just like the door shut. And I said, well, what's going on here? Because I've been consistent every day in putting this into practice. And the
Hmm.
message was, it ain't time. And then I did it with another project, and then it stopped. And the message was, that was just in preparation for something else. So here's the thing: consistency is wonderful when it feels proper to you. And this is why, when you're in touch with your higher self, it may be one day that consistency is thrown out the window and you just go and fly and do whatever you need to do, right?
Right.
This is where, when you listen to yourself, you're always in the right place at the right time. And I threw the rule book out a long time ago. And that rule book says, in order to accomplish this and to do that, you have to have this step, and that step. And that doesn't work for everybody. But consistency is great when you need to have it. But there's also a time and place when it gets thrown out the window because you're in a whole different dimensional realm of doing something. So yes, Edie's totally correct, and I take that up a level higher and go, don't make rules for yourself unless they feel good.
I love that. I love the term throwing the rule book out the window. Because what you're talking about is a whole new paradigm shift, aren't you?
Yes, back to our source, back to who we are, remembering who we are at core level. And we're supposed to be having fun in this world. Why did we ever design the word work? I mean, it's just a harsh word, work, right? it's we're supposed
Or
to have
stuck.
fun. Or stuck, yes.
Yeah.
There's so many mentors out there that channel it properly and wonderfully and say, your life is supposed to be blissful, but you can choose. Here's the laws of the universe. Here's the scientific laws that have proven the laws of the universe exist. Here's the law of physics. Here's your law of attraction. You choose. You want to make it work for you and be stuck, and you want to make it hard, go ahead. But here's how you can have this life of bliss. While Judy followed the other way for most of her life. Life is hard. It has to be, you
Mm.
got to get stuck. You got to go down to the bottom before you ever get up to the top. And you can't do this if you're not that. All of these unworthy things about who I was not. And when I remembered who I was, my life started to change in humongous ways. So, mhm.
Wow. How did that happen for you, Judy? How did that whole transition happen for you, where you got to that place of being unstuck, of loving yourself?
Yeah, it's been a transition and still is, because we never arrive, right?
Right.
And, as I learn more about myself and I stay in tune with myself and allow myself not to follow the rule book of society, the rule book that I used to make for myself, the easier it is. But when I go into fear about what is this, or what is being presented, it feels like a reality because I've made it my reality. Then I go, oh God, okay, I don't really want this. So what do I do now about this? I have a choice: either do what I'm used to, stay in that fear, or move forward. So I think it's a constant evolution. And there wasn't one major thing, because you've heard my life story, some of my life story, Bob. So you know there's been a progression of I get it, and then back down to the bottom I go. And then I think I get it, and back down to the bottom I go. So there isn't one thing that stands out as that epiphany moment. I think I've had many, many, many of them, along the way. And I still keep improving. I say the more I think I know, the less I really know.
Exactly. Let me just say, tell the people that may have come in a little bit late. Judy offered to do some laser coaching. So if anybody has any questions that they want to bring up, just type them in the chat, then I can relay them to her. She cannot see the chat.
Yeah.
So I will, if you have any questions, but you want some laser answers like right here, right now. And she also offers a free 20-minute consultation for anybody who wants that as well. So so if anybody wants it, just go ahead and I'll keep an eye out on the chat over here. So what, Judy, what are like some of the main questions that people have when they come to you?
Yeah. Well, some of them are, I don't know who I am. I don't know my purpose, number one. I don't know why I'm here. I'm middle-aged with kids. I've got a mortgage. I drive, pay for two cars. I work all day long. I come home. I take kids to soccer practice, things like that. By the end of the day, I fall into bed. My relationship with my spouse is usually non-existent anymore because he or she's doing the same thing. Like, what's going on in my life? And or I have disease now.
Mm,
So that's the common thing that runs through all of my clients is I don't
mm.
know who I am, what happened to me, where did I go, what's my purpose, and I don't feel good. And,
Do these do these people ever did they ever know their purpose when they come to you? That you said they lost it, but did they know it before, like before they get into wherever, before they're stuck?
yeah, some people do. I mean, we can remember some of our purposes and our gifts and talents if we remember what we did as a child, if we weren't too overruled by our caregivers by constantly pushing us down. A lot of our caregivers when we're little, up to a year or 2 years old, pretty much let us play with what we want unless they're very governed people that, only give you toys and only segregate you in certain areas. But if we can remember those things, then that's part of our gifts and talents and passions. But a lot of us can seek them out about if we just spend time with ourselves, like, who am I? What do I really want to do? But then, of course, the fear comes in because I've got a mortgage, I've got kids, I've got car payments, I have to go to work, right?
Exactly. Yeah, those are the things. Those are the sort of things that pop in. People should get stuck in their things that you have to do. So they get also hurried up and they have to do this, do that, and they lose themselves or their sense of identity, I guess.
Yeah, they do. And that's why I say number one is let's remember who you are at core level. Who are you?
And how I mean, can you share how you do that to people? How you bring them into that?
Yeah, it's different for everybody when they start to remember. So it's just a process I go through because everyone's an individual. And Edie mentioned this yesterday about how we work with people is so unique
Right.
because I don't have techniques or, things like that because I don't necessarily think they're wrong, but I truly believe that if you thought putting a spoon on top of your head and twirling 3 times would give you your purpose, then do it because you're absolutely right. It will. It will if you believe it.
Right.
So, this is why techniques are so unique to my clients because that's what I build for them and help them build is their own system, their own way of doing things for themselves because we're so unique. Can they use other people's techniques? Sure, if they find it works for them, but I let them know that there isn't one or two things out there that are the sure thing. It's what you believe. So if you believe that spoon on top of your head and twirl around 3 times, then it's truth. You might be able to make $1 million on it too if you sell it that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But,
that's funny.
but it's truth, right? Because our thoughts become our reality. They become the things that change who we are.
It so does. It really does. The thoughts we think, the feelings we feel. How what's your thought or your take on the whole heart thought connection?
Well, I mean, according to the spiritual laws and the scientific laws, whatever you think and then put a lot of feeling into, has to manifest. It's just the attraction. It's just the energy that's out there comes back. So that's been proven. I don't know how many times, but how many people. But we just sit back and go, "Oh yeah, I know thoughts become things," but they say it in a way that they don't know it, and this is where, with my clients especially, we start practicing this into their new life, because you've practiced your old life to be able to do your old life. So if you want a new life, now we got to practice your new life into existence. And how do we do that? Thoughts become things. So let's get your thoughts, let's get your feelings, let's find a technique that works for you best to do that. And that's how we start to make the shift. Simple, so simple. It's not always easy, because guess what we do? Revert back. We want to bring that baggage forward until we learn that we don't have to. And sometimes that takes some practice.
It's getting out of your comfort zone because it's just not comfortable to step out of it, huh?
Yeah, we're so used to it. Even though we don't like it, we complain about it. My life sucks, you know, so and so and so and so, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. I'll just wait and see it, and hopefully it'll change.
Yeah, my life sucks, but I'm used to it, so it's okay. I'm good with that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And and it's funny because a lot of people say, well, this is kind of like new agey sort of stuff, but the things that you're talking about, the things that the masters talk about, this is not new stuff. This was in the Bible.
This is creation. This is the creator. The
Exactly. This is from
energy.
God. This is from God Himself. This is where it all comes from.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been the masters have been talking about this forever. Fear not. Just have strong faith. All of these things. You were not supposed to be living in fear. We could choose it. I've chosen it many times. Not purposely, but say, just worried about. Oh, I got to do this. I have to do these things, and totally forget because you stuck. You're stuck. There you go. The word "stuck" that we talked about yesterday with Edie's show, and work. Just those two things: stuck and work.
Yes, I know. Two words that when we start eliminating them out of our vocabulary, it makes a huge difference in our life.
I am going to now. What's your take on just the words that we say, the thought. I mean, just the words that we speak to the world, to other people.
Yeah, well, the words we speak to ourselves, I don't care what you can say to yourself. It's when you put a definition and a meaning to it that makes the difference in the
Okay.
feeling. Um, like, what if I was to say to you, Bob, shigboop, big boop, big boop? What do you think?
I would say that I'm stuck in love. I'm just kidding with it
But
because the word
what does
stuck
that
could be
mean?
good too.
What
Could
does shibooky booky book mean to you?
means you're just being silly. Well, it might mean something different to you, huh?
Yeah, so it means that to you because you just put a definition to it. So, okay, what if I tell you the definition to shamuka buka book means that you're never going to get far in life? So, Bob, you're a shamuka buka buka boop. So, see the meaning there? You've put a meaning to it. I've put a meaning to it. Now, every time I say that, I know that that's what I mean for that person. When you hear me say it to you, now maybe you're going to think, well, she means I'm not going to get very far in life. Or you can say, I think that's just fun and silly. So here, that's the thing about words. Words don't have a meaning until we put a definition to it.
Mm-hmm.
And once we put a definition to it, we put a feeling to it. So this is, I mean, look at all the languages in the world. Look at all the people that have broken up English. Their words don't necessarily make sense to a trained ear, but the feeling is so unique. So see the difference there of how, never mind what we say, it's the feeling behind it. But yes, as human beings, we're not going to say, yeah, you're no good and blah 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 blah, and expect to have a different feeling behind it, right?
Right.
So this is where everything, there is no energy exchange until you put the feeling to the words, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense, and there's so much confusion. I mean, especially now, especially with all of this everything we have on here, like on Facebook and that stuff. There's a whole bunch of people typing things, and how that can get lost really easy.
Yeah,
Those meanings there, because you're not looking at each other. You don't have the face to face.
that's right. So you're right, the words. So they take their words very literally when they're texting and things like that. That's why you can portray yourself as a totally different person, or a man, or a pedophile.
Or, yeah,
Just right? those words and the meaning that people take behind it, right? So when
Exactly.
you're in touch with your intuition, there's a whole different thing. Now you take it to another level, because nothing has a definition until you put a definition to it. No word has a definition until you, that's how the languages were formed. We teach little kids a glass. This is what a glass is in English, and this is how you say a glass in French. So then they learn that this is a glass, and that's how you spell it, and that's how you say it. But here's the thing about your words. Your words can have energy the minute you project them out there for a period of time.
Hmm.
Because the longer you have that feeling and projection out there, the farther it goes out for that energy to meet up with another like energy to come right back. And this is about practicing your life, right? This is back about what I said about practicing your new life into existence. Let's practice these new feelings. Let's practice these new words. Let's practice all of the new stuff that you want by feeling it, visualizing it, and watch what starts to happen in your life.
Okay. Judy, I'm just going to announce her. We have a couple of questions, and I know usually we stop here at 9 o'clock. Judy said that she will go to about 9:15 or so today. So if anybody has to leave, they can go ahead and leave. And I'm just going to, before they do, I'm going to just tell you how they can get a hold of Judy. But she's going to go on for like an extra 15 minutes or so, and then she has to leave. So if anybody has to go, how can they get a hold of you, Judy? How can people find you?
Okay, so you can email me at judy@judymartene.com.
Okay.
And you can type that in for them, or judymartene.com, my website as well.
Okay, I will share all that stuff today a little bit later on my Facebook wall, and I'll also put that link inside of the replay when this comes back out in a little bit.
And Facebook too as well. So
Okay.
Facebook, yep.
Okay, cool. Now, so we have a couple of questions here. I have um we got one. Now, okay, so Jackson says now you people call talks about calling the energy God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. I mean, to me that's same thing, right? What's your take on that?
Yeah, call it whatever you want. It doesn't necessarily have to have a name. It has to have that feeling, what feels right to you. There
Hmm.
is no right or wrong about it. Call it Tom if you want, Almighty Tom. You omnipresent Tom. It doesn't matter. It's the feeling you have behind it that's the most important.
Okay, and so Debbie Garcia, she said the movie the Secret doesn't seem to work for everybody. Why would that be?
Yeah, and John Asseroff, John Asseroff from The Secret?
Hmm.
So he had a Facebook post once about he asked the same question, why The Secret won't work for 99% of the people that watch it. And I put the words feel it in there. And he goes, okay, I'll be back later, but we'll let feel it answer the question. So John Asseroff let me answer the question for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, eh? He just happened to like one of my pictures the other day, too. So maybe I should be in touch with him. Anyway, so why The Secret won't work? Because The Secret left out one of the most important steps ever. I mean, when I first watched The Secret, I went, well, this is really cool. And then it got to the end and I went, well, now what? Like, they left us with nothing. And Abraham Hicks actually pulled out of The Secret too when they redid it because of this reason.
Really?
Abraham and Jerry Hicks, right? And so the major ingredient they left out of it was to feel it into existence. It's
Mm,
just not an affirmation. It's just not a picture that you stare at. It's feeling it into existence. But feeling it into existence also deals with your belief systems as well. If I want that bike and I'm feeling it and I feel that it can happen for me, I'm taking the bike because the bike was in The Secret. And I'm feeling it can happen to me, but then all of a sudden I feel that it can't because how's it going to get here? Who's going to pay for it? Nobody I know can afford a bike like that. I haven't seen a bike like that around this town ever. So maybe it's not going to come to me. Then it won't, because here's your feelings about lack, right?
hmm.
So how The Secret doesn't work is that because they told you to look at a picture and just pretend it's going to be yours. You have to feel it into existence with your truth and with your honesty about, I really truly believe this can happen for me. And I don't know how, because that's the universe's job. It's not for us to figure out the how unless we're led somewhere. And that's the connection to your intuition I keep talking about. That if you all of a sudden have a direction to go somewhere, you're led somewhere to talk to someone, to pick up the phone, to go somewhere, by all means do it, because you're being led, your intuition, your higher self, that God source is leading you somewhere to receive that manifestation that's already been done. You're just shifting over to receive it. So that's why the secret doesn't work for people, is you can't just do an affirmation in a picture. It has to be more than that. And that's why it created hype around the world, because it got everybody built up, because there was examples. John Assaraf did his vision board, but he did more than just a vision board. He did action steps and he felt it into existence. So that secret movie got everybody so excited, but it just left them like deflated. It left them deflated because they didn't have the action step needed to make it happen.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, another question here from Lisa Uriel. She said, "How about the left brain right brain struggle? How does that play into things? I'm more. She said she's more right brain, but left brain gets in the way. How do you find a balance for people like her?"
Let go of the idea that it has to be balanced. Let go of the idea that your left brain is this and your right brain's that, and I'm more this and more that, because guess what you're focusing on? I'm out of balance. So
Mm,
what do I have to do to get in balance? Believe that you are in balance. Believe that it's constantly balancing itself out for you. And when you live your highest joy and excitement, when you live the things that you love to do, when you put yourself in your life, your left and right brain don't even come into the equation anymore. It just balances the way it should. I think sometimes we get so caught up, and here's the rules again. We read an article and it says, if you ever feel like this, or if you're struggling with this or this or that, it might be your left brain's more dominant than your right. Right? So we believe it because it's written by a spiritual leader or something like that, or someone famous. We believe the research. And research is only truth if you allow it to be your truth. So here's why what I teach my clients is not for the faint-hearted. You have to really be in that space that, yes, I am accountable for what I think, because it becomes my reality. So I hope that it helped answer that question for you.
I hope that answers it for her. Now, also, Lisa, I don't know if you heard or not, but you can also, when you get a hold of Judy, she's offering 20-minute free consultations for anybody who wants to connect with her, and I will put all of her information in. Debbie already posted, I think, her email, but I will post a lot of her information. She posted her Facebook page as well. So yeah, so that will be available. If anybody wants a free 20-minute consultation, then they just reach out to Judy, and she'd be happy to do that.
Yes, please. Absolutely, I would.
Now, what's your take on having gratitude in advance? Are we speaking about the same thing, having gratitude in advance?
Oh, yeah. Gratitude in advance is the law of attraction in action, because it just brings everything for you and to you. It helps you align into that place that's already yours, that's already been done. And one of the things that I do with my clients is work on the gratitude. And I have little pop-up reminders on my phone that says, be grateful for 7 things right now. So it makes me stop and I'll
Hmm.
go, 7 things. Okay. I'm grateful for, and I'll rhyme them off. And you can actually feel the shift of energy change throughout your body, the whole system. And I had a client, I'll never forget this. She used to practice this every time she went into the washroom. It was my little trick to tell her that, because it happens so often, it becomes a habit, right? We go to the
Hmm.
washroom so often. Things started to change for her in such a big way. She would come out and go back into her workplace, and her employees would be treating her different. She would get home and there would be a different energy in the home. She did this for like 2 weeks solid, that it just blew her mind, so to speak, right? But then what happened was she went back into her old negative thinking, right? But she proved to herself, because I have them take notes, I have them keep their journals. She proved to herself how much gratitude changes the life immediately around you, and to the people that surround you as well, because that positive energy radiates out. It's going to bring back positive energy as well. So gratitude for what you are now, for who you are now, and for the things that you're expecting. Like my Jeep right now is not a healthy Jeep. And so every time I get in, I say, thank you, girl, for doing what you need to do today. I thank you for getting me where I need to be. And I can't wait. And I'm so excited. And thank you for the new Jeep that's coming. All black, and I can feel it. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. And you, Jeep, you get to go and take a rest. And I get so excited about that. What am I doing? I'm calling forth those things into my life, but I'm being so grateful for them as well. So gratitude supersedes so much for change in someone's life.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I was thinking about that this morning as I was putting water into my radiator before I went for my run this morning, and I was thanking my car that I've had it for 5 years, and I was thinking the new one is coming. Well, and it's funny you talk about Jeep. It's just so funny like that. And it's funny because I mentioned gratitude in advance yesterday and with Edie, and her face just lit up. She was like, "That's it." She said, "That's it," and it really is, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
that gratitude in advance because you're coming from that place. You're coming from that place of love, of feeling of where you want to be, and it's just so powerful. And I call gratitude, practicing gratitude. It's almost like cheating. It's like you're getting yourself placed to love like real quick. You're just like, instantaneous.
Well, you're calling your new life into existence, right? You're calling those things be not as though they are. That's what you
It
do.
exactly, yeah, and just practicing the whole thing of gratitude. It's cheating. It's a shortcut. I was thinking this morning about like we want to go. Like I used to go to my home when I was a kid. There was a little field we cut through. You could walk on the sidewalk all the way around, or you could just cut through the field, cut through the little pathway in the field, just shaved off some time, and everybody would take the shortcut to the field, and that's what gratitude is, like a shortcut.
Yeah, it's a huge but well-known secret, but people don't have a clue what it does. They don't. If they did, imagine.
Yeah. Now, how important is it to have a mentor or a coach or somebody to help guide somebody?
So, so important. I mean, we're community-based human beings. Look at the tribal communities, and there's still communities like this where the older people, like us, Bob, are considered wise elders. We're considered the ones that the people go to for the wisdom and the knowledge that we've gained. So that's what mentors is people that can mentor you and have that wisdom and knowledge to help. And a coach as well. We need one another. We are not islands unto ourselves. And I remember a time in an era when that was the case. You had goals and you worked by yourself and you just struggled and you worked and you got stuck and you struggled and you worked. But it's coming back to community, and I've been saying this for years because I love community. Is like we need a mentor, coach each other, whether we pay for it with a chicken or a bag of flour or by cash, we all need it to move forward. We all need it to stay connected and to be accountable as well. I think it's just so, I think it needs to just become commonplace. I really do. And I have one. I have a spiritual elder. She's 75 and she's a dear friend of mine as well. But she's an incredible energy reader as well. So I'm very blessed to have her in my life. And I go for body treatments to some other energy healers as well, or people that are conduits for healing. And it's so important to keep myself in that place, because that old ego, that humanness of me sometimes, lets me beat up on myself pretty darn good. So to have accountability, with people is so important. And that's why they say it takes a village to raise a child. Hmm.
What did you find is the best way to remove yourself from the ego?
Never. I don't remove myself from the ego. I make friends with my ego.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, make friends with it because you can't remove the ego unless you're going to have a lobotomy.
Okay, good, because cause I was kind of struggling with that one myself.
No, you can't. You can't. It's part of your earth suit. It's part of your body.
Mhm. Good.
It's let's make friends with it. It's there and it's going to be there, and we're never going to be that spiritually enlightened at, at the moment where that ego doesn't exist because then we'd be out of our earth suit.
Love it. Love that. Thank you. I that releases me. It kind of gets me off the hook a little bit.
Good. Good.
I felt like I was doing something wrong. I'm saying, well, but that damn eagle's still there. So, oh, I don't know about this.
It's supposed to be there.
Thank you. Thank you. That's huge. That's a huge revelation for me.
I tend to be a catalyst in people's lives. They used to call me a shit disturber. And then I realized that, yeah, I'm a catalyst because I do stir up the shit in people's lives and make them see things in a whole different way. And
Hmm.
that's why I'm so blessed at what I get to do because the work I do isn't blasé. It's powerful, powerful work because I stir that shit up, because isn't that why you're paying me? You want to shift, you want something different in your life. So how can something different happen if you don't look at what's not happening?
Yeah, exactly. It's not just because just to make them feel good. Like
No,
you said, the accountability comes into play there as well.
responsibility too.
Okay, and how do you hold people to that? To like, if somebody says, okay, yeah, I want to work with you. What do you, how do you do that? How do you make them? How do you hold them to accountable or responsible? How do you do that?
Well, they start to hold themselves accountable. But what happens in sessions is questions come up or words that they say or things that are going on in their life. I laser in on it and I say, here's the shit. Here's what's going on. So what do you want to do about this? Are you happy with it? Do you want to keep it or do you not want to keep it?
So it's a
So
choice.
yeah. So it's so cool the way they can say a sentence and I say, do you just realize what you said? And they're like, no, I didn't. And so it's so really neat the way I don't know, it's this cool gifts I have, Bob. It's just the
Hmm,
coolest thing because it helps people literally change their lives.
that's cool.
No, I know. It's just a blessing. It's just a blessing to be able to do that for people. That's why I love to laser coach because it just is like, phew, there you go. Like with you about the ego.
Yeah.
You're always going to have it. Make friends with it. It's not a bad thing.
That, no, that's if I get nothing else, that I got a lot. If nobody else got anything from this thing, I did. That was huge. Like I said, I've been struggling, talking to people about that and stuff like that, and I'm kind of almost feeling like guilty because I still have this ego thing going on, and now you just kind of like just lift that veil off me and make me feel better. It's like, okay, cool.
How
Now,
can you not have it? You have a body. You have a human earth suit.
that's what I was thinking too. But you always hear about you. You need to separate yourself from your ego. You need to, can
And who
you?
do we hear that from? Who makes those rules up, Bob?
I don't know. Throw that rule book out the window, like you said. Throw that rule book out. I'm all for
Yes,
throwing that rule book out the window.
I'll
Yeah,
never
we threw
forget.
we threw our old rotary phone out the window, didn't we? So we move on,
Yes,
we evolve, we grow, we evolve.
one of my cool stories, and I won't tell it, is when my kids were younger, I threw the Christmas rule book out the window and didn't do Christmas, and they thought it absolutely flipped my lid. I said, I can't do Christmas. I don't have the rule book. I don't know when to do it. I don't know what tree it is. I don't know what food. I didn't do Christmas. So that's how far back those rule book stories of mine go.
I don't think I would even throw that one out the window.
How are we doing for time? My doorbell's.
We're at 9:12. You have to leave at 9:15, right?
I could go to 9:20 if there's a question, but yeah, if there's
Okay. Well, Jackson has a question. He says here, where does the power come from? What is the source of this power for you, Judy?
is my connection to my source because I am part of that source connection. I'm part of I'm part of you. I'm part of the world. I'm part of everything. I've come from that omnipresent source, that God, source energy, whatever you call it. And when you're connected to that, when you remember who you are, and when you reconnect back to your intuition, that voice of God, those angels, those guides, or higher self, whatever you want to call it, that in itself is powerful. Then you realize that you are the creator of your world. You are the creator of everything that's happening in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? You are the creator of that. And it freed me. When I found that out, it freed me because I didn't hold anybody or anything accountable or responsible. I held myself. And then I let myself off the hook because that's all I knew. Well, you only do what you know. But now I know different, right?
I'm going to ask you a religious question about different religions that fight with each other, and it's all about God. They believe their God, and then their God, and they end up killing each other, and it's been going on for like centuries. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, there's always been religion, and there always will be. It's just a fear mechanism and control mechanism that someone has a deep belief in something. I mean, just like you believed what you read about the ego, or our guest believed what she read about the left and right brain. Somebody's had to make up something, and remember, it's the definition we put to it. So there's always going to be people that are fear based, and that's what religion is. Religion is it's based in fear. And then the fear comes out is, well, you don't believe me and you don't like what I said and do, then I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
Been around since the beginning of time. And I was extremely religious at one point and even was part of a cult. You know, that was my first real physical sense that there was something. One time I got hands laid on me and said, Jesus, just help Judy see who you are. And I laid on the floor for 20 minutes vibrating at a speed where my husband was like, OMG. and the white light through me was so incredible. I could tell I was on the floor, and I said, "What is this?" And the pastor's wife said, "Honey, it's Jesus." And I went, "Oh, then I want this." Because that one of my pinnacles, one of my epiphanies then was like, I want this more than anything, because when people say they've seen the light, I did.
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes of it. It's pure ecstasy. Pure I can't even describe it.
Where did that come from?
I thought it came from Jesus back then because I was into religion. Now I know it's just omnipresent. It's the energy. It's the creator energy.
Which is God.
Yeah. Tom, Dick, Harry, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Because God is in all of us. I think it. I mean, it's in everything. It's in every one.
Yeah. 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 That's been proven over and over and over and over and over and over again too, as well. That there's a source creator out there.
Yeah, there's got to be. There has to be a source creator. There has to be something, because we just can't come from nothing. I don't think we can just come from nothing. You know, it's an apple can't come from just like nothing. It's got to come from the tree. The fruit, we're fruit of the vine. So whether you make it religious or it's just something that there is a source, a powerful force source out there that we can tap into.
But an apple can come from out of nowhere if you believe it. An apple can manifest in my palm if I knew how to manipulate that energy to the point.
Energy. That's one thing I did want to talk about, energy and vibration a little bit. How powerful, how important is the energy and vibration that we have, that we can project or tap into?
Well, the energy is who we are. Like, everything is energy. We're just in this human earth suit with these eyes and these ears that have slowed energy down to minute particles or whatever those terms are, right? But when you see energy through spiritual eyes, through that enlightened eyes, you see that energy is everything. It's just different sources, different strengths, different strands of it. So it's just who we are. When I remember years ago, I saw this person, whether it was, and I'm not sure it was a trick or not. He actually put his hand through a table. And then I learned that he knew how to slow down the energy of his hand and or speed up the energy of that table to put his hand through the table. And I've heard about things like that many, many times. It's people who understand energy, the levitation, understanding energy, especially the monks understand that. When they do a lot of transcendental meditations, they understand that.
They're not tricks. They're not part of the tricks. They're actually doing energy work.
Yeah, well, some people can make them look as tricks, but others, yeah, it's energy stuff. Yeah. Manipulate the energy.
That's interesting.
All we are is energy, right? Different forms of energy, different static energy, different frequencies of energy.
Energy and matter, kind of like the atomic bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just moving something small like that, to release that kind of energy into the atmosphere, the universe. It's amazing. So much stuff that none of us knows.
Yeah. At this point in time, anyway.
Well, let's see if there's any more questions here today. I don't see any more questions. So again, so people can get a hold of you, Judy, by going in. Just go to your website,
Facebook, email,
or Facebook, and just find you there.
Yeah.
And I will put all your links in the replay and things like that. And you do offer a 20-minute free consultation for anybody who likes that.
Hey, yeah, I love it. Love doing that. Yep, absolutely.
Well, this was just such a treat, Judy, for coming out here today. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here today. And so just again, just thank you, and thank you for the revelation for me, to show me how I can release that ego that I've been fighting with for so long, like that. It's just a great.
Well, you're welcome. Just let it go. Just make friends with it. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, before you go, how do you make friends with it? How do you do that?
Allow it to be there. Allow it to be part of this experience that you're having. And what do you want? Do you want to stay in that doubt and fear, which is your ego, right? Or do you want to live more joyfully and blissfully? So it's just a choice, and know that ego is there to serve you.
Okay.
Serve you.
Now, how do you get the ego on board with you? How do you get the ego
by being happy.
Just choosing to be happy. Just
By
choose it.
choosing to be happy, put things in your day that make you feel good. Like I'm having company this afternoon, and then I may go for a walk. I may have a nap. I'm going to play a game. What else can I do today that feels good for me?
Choose to be happy.
And then do it.
Or
And
we
then,
can choose to think about how things are while we're stuck.
yeah,
It's our choice. We can stay
it's
there. Or
always a choice.
I choose to be happy today.
And the
I
more you choose to be happy, according to the law of attraction, you get more of it. More
exactly.
reasons to be happy, things that come into your life that cause you to have joy.
Hmm. Yep. If you read the Bible, you read the things that Jesus said. Pretty much the same thing.
Yes.
About that. I mean, I'm not. I don't know all the Bible quotes or verses, but pretty much the same thing. He
Yep.
wasn't saying focus on the bad. He always focus on love.
I
Come
know.
from the come from the place of love. So if you do that, and just make it like that, keep it simple, and choose to be happy. Choose to focus on love, gratitude, and you'll be better.
Yes.
So Judy, again, I know we were out of time. We're even a minute past time, but again, thank you so much for coming on to this. It's been just a blessing. So
My
I'll
pleasure.
be talking. I will give you the replay link. I'll send it to you to your to Facebook Messenger and stuff like that, so you'll have it, and I'll put everything up there, all your links, everything. So again, thank you so much, and thank everybody for coming here today. So we'll
Guys,
see you.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a special show every Thursday. Priscilla McMillan's going to talk. She's the Reverend Priscilla McMillan, and she's going to talk about her connection with God. So it's got another great show. So again, thank you so much, Priscilla. We'll see you later on then. Bye bye.
Bye.